Welcome back to Story by Director X. I am Julien Christian Lutz, PKA Director X. This is episode 3. I'm very excited. As you can tell, I have samurai swords. I have my kimono on. I even got this actual blade, samurai blade, that I got in Japan. Look at this. Look at that. Even got the little writing on it. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe y'all can see it. All right. And why am I so Japanesed out today? Well, that is because we are doing episode 3. And that is Yasuke, the Black Samurai, a mostly true story. Reminding you that these are the stories that I write for film and television. This would be a story that I wrote to give to a writer who would then make a script from it. But it's the story that we want to do. If you want to learn more about the African samurai, this book is a great one. Okay, Yasuke, take a look at that. I wrote this story before the book, but it's very much based on the true events. I tried to make it as true as I could. It's one of my philosophies about historical movies, TV shows, that it should be true to the historical events. I always say that a kid should be able to cheat on their homework with it. So this is really the events and the people as best as I know, as best as our historians know. This is the Yasuke story with a little bit of Hollywood thrown in there, and you're gonna see why. So stick around. Yasuke, the Black Samurai, coming up on Story by Director X. Yasuke, the Black Samurai, Story by Director X. Logline. In feudal Japan, during the Warring States period, the Sengekko Kadai, where warlords fight to conquer and unify Japan, an African man guarding Jesuit missionaries catches the eye of the country's top warlord, Oda Nobunaga, the first unifier of Japan. Nobunaga brings the African man into his inner circle, makes him a samurai, and names him Yasuke. The story. 1579. A massive Portuguese ship sails the ocean. The sailors are hard at work doing the day's business. Amongst the white faces, a tall black man with a sword at his side stands guard at the great cabin. Yasuke, although not yet using this name. The cabin door opens, and out steps Father Alessandro Vagnano, number 3 man in the Jesuit order. Yasuke follows behind, watching the crew as they bow their heads. Yasuke notices some of the crew have anger in their eyes. He takes note. That night, Father Alessandro is having dinner with his top priests, discussing the mission they are on. Soon they will reach Japan. The entire country is at war, with warlords aspiring to unify the country through conquest. The Jesuits will convert warlords to Christ, and eventually the whole country will follow Jesus. The sound of an argument outside interrupts their conversation. A junior priest rushes in. A mutiny is underway. Yasuke steps out to guard the cabin door. The battle on deck rages. Yasuke engages the mutineers with sword, fist, and foot. He is strong and is an exceptional fighter. The mutineers are put down. The ship arrives in Japan with the Portuguese missionaries and a party of roughly 60 people. The Japanese have never seen a black face before. From the moment Yasuke steps off the ship, all eyes are on him. People crowd to see him wherever they go. A woman makes her attraction for Yasuke obvious, and Yasuke returns the interest. Father Alessandro sees this and scolds him for being weak of flesh. Traveling to Kyoto, people line the road to watch. As the party passes through a village, they witness a homeless man being beaten by a mob. They kill him. Another homeless man cries over his friend's body. Yasuke gives the grieving man some food and money. As they continue on, Alessandro and Yasuke speak about friendship and duty. As they reach Kyoto, a festival is happening. It's explained to Yasuke that the festival is being thrown by Oda Nobunaga, the feared ruler of the Oda clan and the most powerful warlord in Japan. Nobunaga's dominance in this conquest is so clear that the Portuguese call him the King of Japan. He has conquered most of the country, only the west, controlled by the Mori clan, and the central territory, controlled by his clan's arch-rival, the Takeda, elude him. When the people in Kyoto see Yasuke, interested onlookers become a mob of people fighting to get a glimpse. The convoy rushes to the church with the mob chasing behind them. Yasuke is taken inside and guards hold back the mob as they bang and attempt to break down the church doors. Word of the commotion reaches Nobunaga. He wants to see Yasuke for himself. Yasuke and one of the missionaries travel to Nobunaga's castle where a great party is thrown for him. At the party, Nobunaga suspects that Yasuke's skin is simply dyed black and attempts to have it scrubbed off. None is removed. His strength is tested, And Nobunaga declares, Yasuke has the strength of 10 men. Nobunaga and his son/heir Nobutada speak with Yasuke. They are impressed with his Japanese and his character. Yasuke is treated with great grace and escorted home. Later that evening, Nobunaga discusses Yasuke with his advisors. He is considering making Yasuke a samurai. There are varying levels of prejudice concerning outsiders. Some share Nobunaga's open mind to new people and new ways of doing things. Others have great disdain and don't feel they should be allowed in the country at all. The most vocal of these men is Akechi Mitsuhide, one of Nobunaga's generals. Mitsuhide rages that Nobunaga is making a mistake in bringing Yasuke amongst them. He is little more than a beast. Nobunaga belittles Mitsuhide and gives him the responsibility of training Yasuke. At the church, Nobutada arrives with a samurai escort. He requests that Yasuke enter the service of Nobunaga and presents 10,000 boxes of copper coins for the missionaries as a gift. Father Alessandro discusses with Yasuke the potential for him to bring Nobunaga to Christ. He must go. It is God's will. Yasuke returns to the castle where Nobunaga gives him with a short sword, a private residence, and a new name, Yasuke. In an attempt to shame Yasuke, Mitsuhide has him trained by a woman, Tomo Gozen, an Onna Bugeisha, woman warrior. Yasuke begins his training with Tomo, learning the martial arts and philosophy of Bushido. Yasuke is extremely talented in martial arts, impressing even Mitsuhide. Tomo explains the samurai code of complete loyalty to one's lord above all else. She tells the story of Mitsuhide as an example. Mitsuhide was ordered to siege a castle for Nobunaga. The castle was well fortified and supplied, thus the siege was prolonged. Mitsuhide took a diplomatic approach. If the castle's lord would travel to speak with Nobunaga, the lord would not be harmed. To ensure his safety, Mitsuhide left his mother with the lord's retainers. When the lord was brought to Nobunaga, he was slain. And in return, Mitsuhide's mother was killed. Yet Mitsuhide remains loyal to Nobunaga, because that is the samurai code. Yasuke must be as loyal to Nobunaga as she is to Mitsuhide, giving their lives if asked to do so. It is the way of the samurai. Yasuke and Tomo spend everyday training and begin to take their evenings together. They are falling in love, and Mitsuhide doesn't like it, but allows it. He sees potential for power over Yasuke. Yasuke dines with Nobunaga and his son Nobutada. Yasuke talks of Jesus, but Nobunaga is an atheist. They debate God, spirits, ancestors, and fate. Nobunaga enjoys Yasuke's mind and is impressed with his martial skills. He can see Yasuke as a warrior of outstanding character, bestowing upon Yasuke the honor of being his weapon's bearer. A friendship develops between the two. Nobunaga tells Yasuke of the great treachery that is part of a lord's life. He could be betrayed by anyone, even his own son. He knows Yasuke has no such ambitions. Yasuke feels indebted to Nobunaga for changing his life. He dreams of being at Nobunaga's side as he unifies Japan, and then starting a family of his own. During the day, Yasuke rides with Nobunaga as he surveys his land and checks on the infrastructure projects he has started. As they travel through the forest, a ninja in the trees attempts to assassinate Nobunaga by shooting him with a rifle. Yasuke spots the ninja in the forest and chases after him on horseback, with Nobunaga's guard following behind. The ninja reaches his horse and gallops away. Yasuke and Nobunaga's samurai chasing behind him follow deep into the forest. They have the assassins surrounded when suddenly ninja stars fly through the air. More ninjas lay in wait, ambushing Yasuke and the guard. Samurai and ninja alike fall in the battle, leaving only Yasuke versus the last 5 surviving ninja. Yasuke has no fear. He engages the ninja, defeating them all and bringing back the assassin to Nobunaga. Nobunaga is alive and well. The bullet was stopped by his armor. He questions the ninja but gets no answers. He doesn't need any. The Takeda clan sent him. Nobunaga orders Yasuke to behead him. Yasuke steps forward. He's a samurai now, and loyal to his lord. He swings his sword. In the Oda castle, Yasuke is in the room as Nobunaga plans his attack on the Takeda clan, his arch rival and only other significant power in Japan. After the fall of the Takeda, only the West under the control of the Mori clan will remain out of Nobunaga's grasp. Toyotomi Hideyoshi and his army are sent to take the first steps in invading Mori land by attacking Takamatsu Castle. Tomo and Yasuke must part ways in the campaign against the Takeda. She serves in Mitsuhide's army and he will be in Nobunaga's. That night in Yasuke's residence, the two spend the night together. Maybe their last. They make passionate love. The campaign begins. Nobunaga's army marches to Takeda territory. Mitsuhide marches his 10,000-man force a different direction to lay a trap, and Tokugawa Ieyatsu's large army will join them at a strategic location. The night before the battle, Yasuke is taught about the head-presenting ceremony. Yasuke must take the heads of the samurai he kills, and in case he loses his head, he must groom himself, so that he will look his best when presented to the enemy lord. The next day, the battle begins. Yasuke is at Nobunaga's side as he commands the movements of his army. Things change quickly. The Takeda are famous for their mounted samurai. They inflict great damage on Nobunaga. He is losing the battle. Nobunaga joins the fray with Yasuke and his retainers. Bloody sword-to-sword combat with Yasuke taking many heads. He is a dynamo. But their efforts are not enough. The Takeda have the upper hand. Until Ieyatsu's army arrives, shifting the balance of power. The Takeda retreat. Nobunaga is victorious. That night, Yasuke presents his heads to Nobunaga at the head-presenting ceremony. He has killed many, and some very important samurai at that. His station in life is rising even higher. Mitsuhide does not like this. Suddenly, a roughed-up, dirty Oda soldier is brought to Nobunaga. The retreating Takeda army, looking for at least one victory, have attacked a small Oda castle. They have it surrounded. It will not be long until the castle is overrun. The roughed-up Oda soldier was able to escape, hoping to inform Nobunaga in time to send reinforcements. Nobunaga sends the soldier back to the castle to inform the others that help is on the way. The soldier sets off immediately. Yasuke is given 5,000 troops to lead a rescue of the castle. At the besieged castle, the Oda soldier sneaks through the bush, passing the Takeda, but he is spotted and captured. They torture him to tell the soldiers in the castle that there is no help on the way. He agrees. The Takeda tie him to a pole in view of the soldiers in the castle. The Oda soldier defies the Takeda, yelling out that help will soon be there. The Takeda kill the soldier, but it's too late. The soldiers in the castle celebrate, the morale boosted. As the sun rises, Yasuke leads his 5,000 soldiers to face off with the Takeda. The two small armies clash. Yasuke leads from the front, charging the Takeda, cutting down samurai after samurai. The gates of the castle open with the soldiers inside streaming out. The Takeda are trapped in between and are completely annihilated. The Oda have wiped out the Takeda clan. Yasuke returns from his victory, sitting in with Nobunaga as he meets with his lords, including Mitsuhide and Ieyasu. A letter from Hideyoshi arrives, informing Nobunaga that he is in a difficult siege of the Takamatsu castle and has diverted a river, flooding the valley, leaving the castle as an island in its center. He needs reinforcements if he's going to take the castle by force. Nobunaga takes this message as a great sign of a historic battle to come. He orders many of his lords, including Mitsuhide, march west to join forces with Hideyoshi. Nobunaga will spend the night at Hanoji Temple in Kyoto, and then join his armies for the grand battle that awaits. Nobunaga, Yasuke, and a small retinue ride to Kyoto. Mitsuhide and his army march west, but along the road he gives orders to turn the army around and head to Kyoto, where Nobunaga will personally inspect them. Tomo rides with the army, but something about this change of plan feels off. Something is going on. As Mitsuhide's army approaches Hanoji, he declares that the Oda are the enemy and orders an attack. Inside the temple, Nobunaga participates in a tea ceremony. The sounds of yelling can be heard from outside. They suspect it to be a quarrel amongst the temple guards and pay it no mind. Nobunaga washes his hands and face when an arrow hits him in the side. He pulls it out by hand. They recognize they are being attacked by Mitsuhide. Yasuke, Nobunaga, and his retainers fight in close quarters, but they are outnumbered. Nobunaga shoots arrows, but the string breaks. He uses a spear, but suffers a spear wound himself to the elbow. He tells the women to leave. Mitsuhide will not harm them. But he will not allow Mitsuhide to take his head. He orders Yasuke to take his head and ride it to Nobutada, protect his son. Nobunaga commits ritual suicide, seppuku, cutting his belly open. Before his body hits the ground, Yasuke cuts off his head. As Yasuke escapes with his lord's head in hand, the last of Nobunaga's men set the temple on fire. Yasuke watches as it burns. Yasuke rides through the night to Nobutada's castle, telling of Mitsuhide's betrayal and the army that marches their way. They prepare themselves, but all know this is a hopeless battle. Mitsuhide's army arrives, bursting into the castle. Yasuke and the Oda fight hard. Yasuke catches a glimpse of Tomo in the fray, the lovers on opposite sides. They make eye contact with a glance that speaks volumes. I am loyal to my lord. Mitsuhide's army defeat the Oda. Nobutada, his retainers, and Yasuke are brought to him. Mitsuhide takes from Yasuke the short sword Nobunaga gave him. He then orders Nobutada and his retainers to commit seppuku, but not Yasuke. He tells Yasuke he is not Japanese, little more than a beast, unworthy to participate in samurai rituals. He will be returned to the Portuguese. But first, Tomo is brought in. Mitsuhide calls her unclean for laying with Yasuke, and that she must commit seppuku too. Yasuke protests, but Tomo calms him. She will do her duty. She takes her short sword and presses it to her belly, but stops. She is pregnant and cannot bring herself to kill the baby inside her. Yasuke is floored by this revelation. Mitsuhide laughs as he cuts off Tomo's head. It rolls to Yasuke, her eyes looking at him, still conscious as her life slowly fades away. Yasuke goes mad with rage, rushing at Mitsuhide. It takes many, many men to hold him back. Mitsuhide laughs as Yasuke is dragged away. On the road to Kyoto, Yasuke is escorted by a small escort of Akechi samurai. His heart is broken, his body exhausted. A tear rolls from his eye. When suddenly, the convoy is attacked by a band of bandits. Yasuke sees his opportunity for escape and fights his guards. With the Akechi samurai dead, the bandits debate what to do with Yasuke when the bandits' leader steps forward. Nakamura Chobe. Chobe is the homeless man Yasuke aided when they first arrived in Japan. While Yasuke rose in the ranks of the aristocracy, he rose in the underworld. They will take Yasuke in, heal his wounds, and he will be one of them. Far away from the city, deep in the forest, a man gallops his horse through the trees when he is set upon by Hideyoshi samurai. The attackers take the men away. Hideyoshi stands on a hill, watching his army on rafts attacking Takamotsu Castle. The captured horse rider is brought to him. He carries a message intended for the lord of the castle, informing him that Nobunaga is dead, and asking him to join forces with Mitsuhide, who has declared himself shogun. Hideyoshi is enraged and declares he will use diplomacy to topple Takamotsu Castle and return to Kyoto to avenge Nobunaga. Yasuke is mostly recovered from his wounds in the bandits' camp. He practices his sword work when Chobe and his men return. Armies are marching. Hideyoshi is returning to face Mitsuhide. The bandits will ride to the battle and pick off soldiers and samurai that run. They ride to the battlefield, watching as the armies clash in the distance. Mitsuhide's army is routed and run from the field. As the bandits search for prey, they see a samurai walking the road alone. They descend upon him. To their surprise, the samurai is Mitsuhide. Yasuke challenges him to a duel. Mitsuhide accepts. The two face off, both fueled by hate. Swords clash, but Yasuke outsmarts Mitsuhide, taking his head clean off his shoulders. Yasuke tosses the head to Chobe, telling him to take credit for the kill. He takes his short sword off of Mitsuhide's headless body and walks towards the sunset and his future in Japan. The end. Well, that's it. Episode 3, Yasuke, the Black Samurai. What do you think? I mean, if you go and research and read, say, the book I told you about before, or just go look at some YouTube videos, there's a lot of stuff. You'll see that this is essentially the story. I added the love interest because it's a movie. And come on, man. At the end with the, come on, man. Anyways, episode 4 is coming up. Another great departure from the first 3 episodes of Story by Director X. So join me. Take a read. Of course, share, like, all the YouTube stuff. Leave comments. Tell people about it, man. Especially this one. This is a good one. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. And peace till the next time.